Hi, today is March 3rd, 2023, and here are my poems for the day. The first one is poem number 365 for the year. Oh, that's funny. No intros. I had forgotten that the guy who is running the reading at the Jefferson Market Courthouse Library tomorrow has a no intros policy, meaning he doesn't want anyone at the reading to provide any context for the poem that they will read, or to say anything at all before they read. I find this infuriating. A lot of what I do as a writer is about context, and some of what I do as a performer is provide awkward, uncomfortable, and occasionally humorous introductions to my poems. Sometimes I have something interesting to say about the poem I am about to read, and I want to set it up. That happens not to be the case with the reading tomorrow, but so what? It could have been the case, and at the very least I would want to apologize tomorrow to the other readers because I won't be able to stay long after I go on, because I will be staying with my mom tomorrow and Sunday, and I will need to get back to her as soon as I can tomorrow. Like, I will stay for a few readers after me for the sake of being polite, but then I will have to go, and I feel as though explaining that before I read will mitigate some of my guilt. But maybe it isn't necessary or desirable for me to say that either, because why should whoever is there tomorrow be subjected to my mea culpas? Oh, but maybe I would want to say something about the Jefferson Market Courthouse Library and how I used to go there after school during the 2 years I went to PS41, or how in the very room that I will be performing in tomorrow I saw Oscar Brand perform, and the only song I remember him doing is Who Knows the Color of God. Oh, fuck me. It definitely isn't necessary for me to say that. So, okay, maybe this time the no intros policy is a good one, but it isn't always. Poem number 366, A Good Intro, or The Rent. I love me a good intro, and now I've got me thinking about geniuses of the genre. Geniuses of the art of introduction include, and I have seen all three of the below perform before, so I know firsthand of what I speak. Lyle Lovett, who is playing at the Plaza Live in Savannah, Georgia tonight. I would go, except I'm hanging with my mom tonight. Nellie Mackay, and it's Savannah, not Savannah. Nellie Mackay, who is playing at the Kennedy Center's Millennium Stage in Washington, D.C. a week from today. I would go, but I will be in New York City. And Al Stewart, who is currently on tour playing at several city wineries, including the one in New York on April 2nd. I would go, but that place is a little pricey, and the rent at my place isn't going to pay itself. Although, wouldn't it be awesome if the rent paid itself? Like, if the rent had a checking account and wrote checks to itself so that you wouldn't have to do it, and then you could just chill out with the rent over cocktails or mocktails, and you could be like, hey, rent, how come you're still writing checks? Haven't you heard of online banking? And then the rent could be, oh, get off of my balls. You should just be happy that I'm paying the rent so you don't have to, cockfucker, which the rent would then explain means to stick your cock into the pee hole of someone else's cock. I bet if the rent performed its own original music, its intros would kick ass. If the rent was playing in town anytime soon and the tickets were, say, under $40, I'd be on that shit like brown on brown rice. Poem number 367, Flyer. Last week, Samara had told me that she was making a flyer for Sunday's show, so I waited, and then finally yesterday morning I made a flyer to cover the reading I'm doing tomorrow and the show on Sunday. And just as I finished making it, Samara sends me her flyer. And I said to myself, but not to her, well, I just spent what felt like a lot more time than it actually was making this flyer, so I'm going to post it now, which I did. My flyer only had my name on it, which kind of made me feel like a shitheel. Samara's flyer is much nicer, although it's a bit difficult to find the time and the date on it, and I don't think it has the address of the venue, 19 Monroe Street, unless it's there and I haven't yet been able to find it. But I will post her flyer that has everyone's name on it, but not the address on it today, and maybe that will make me feel like less of a shitheel. That would be nice. Poem number 368, Shitheel. She felt like a goddamn shitheel. She felt like a goddamn shitheel. The other morning, she stepped in dog shit, and she saw the heel of her shoe covered in dog shit, and she said to herself, this heel covered in shit is a mirror reflecting myself back to me, so that I can see the real me, who is in fact a shitheel. She was ashamed of past behavior. She was contrite and apologetic. although she was not about to apologize. Fuck 'em if they can't take a joke. Fuck 'em in the ear. Fuck 'em in both ears with two big dicks that burst their fucking eardrums. Yes, she was a shitheel, and everyone knew it, and everyone knew that she knew it. But there was much internal and external discussion as to whether the fact that she seemed to be acutely aware of the full extent of her shitheelness was to her credit, because self-awareness is good, or to her detriment, because if she knows, why doesn't she cut that shit out? And that debate continues. Poem number 369, Deception and Denial. This is the last one for today. I want to confess that the daily negations recordings that I post each morning on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are not always recorded on the morning that I post them. The one I posted this morning, and the one I post tomorrow, and the one I post on Sunday were all recorded yesterday afternoon. I'm not exactly ashamed of this, but it does feel like cheating. I did it because I'm staying with my mom this weekend, and I wanted the negations to have the same consistent brick wall background that they have had ever since I moved into this place. I am still in denial about how I am going to record tomorrow's poems and Sundays, whether I will find a way to record them from my mom's place or whether I will just wait and record them when I get back home on Sunday night. I realize, of course, that this is not a real problem. And I suppose I ought to be grateful that I have something as inconsequential as this to distract me from the things that are probably not particularly healthy for me to think about. All right, that's it for the day. Thank you. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow at the library. Maybe I'll see you the day after tomorrow at the gallery. But regardless, I really appreciate you, whoever you are. I don't know some of you personally, but I really appreciate you. Thanks.